The sun shone brightly over the earth, but on this day, it wasn't the warmth of the star that caught the attention of the people. It was the message that came from the stars themselves. The Galactic Empire, a vast and powerful collection of alien civilizations, had sent a message to Earth. It wasn't an ordinary message. This was an invitation, a request, or perhaps a demand. The message was simple but filled with power. The Empire wanted to make contact with Earth, to bring the planet into their fold, and to share the benefits of galactic cooperation. But behind their polite words lay a silent challenge. Earth would either accept their offer or face the consequences of defying the Empire. The message arrived on every screen on Earth, on televisions, phones, computers, and even in the skies above major cities. It appeared as a holographic projection, showing the leaders of the Empire standing tall in front of enormous shining ships. The figure at the forefront of the image, a regal alien with gleaming blue skin and eyes like shining stars, spoke in a calm, authoritative voice. To the people of Earth, the figure said, "We, the Galactic Empire, extend a hand of friendship. We offer you the opportunity to join us in a shared future among the stars. Through us, you will gain access to technologies beyond your wildest imagination, cultures from worlds you've never dreamt of, and the protection of an empire that spans the galaxy. Our ships will arrive soon. Welcome us, and we shall guide you into the future." The message ended with a flourish, leaving the people of Earth in a stunned silence. Some were excited by the possibilities, while others felt uneasy. Earth had never been in contact with alien civilizations before, and now one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy was knocking on their door. The question lingered: should humanity open its doors or stand firm and protect what was theirs? As the message spread across the world, governments began to react. In every corner of the Earth, leaders gathered to discuss what to do. There was fear, curiosity, and even anger. Some saw this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, an invitation to join the galactic community and leap ahead in technology. Others were suspicious. What did the Empire really want? And what would happen if Earth refused? In the heart of New York City, the United Nations called an emergency meeting. The world's most powerful nations sent their representatives, including leaders from the United States, China, Russia, India, and Europe. For hours, they debated the best course of action. There were many opinions, but one thing was clear: they had to act fast. The Empire's fleet was already on its way, and Earth's leaders had to decide whether to open their doors to the unknown or to close them and prepare for whatever might come next. The debate was fierce. Some argued that joining the Empire would bring peace and prosperity to Earth. They spoke of the advanced technologies the Empire promised: clean energy, medical breakthroughs, and transportation systems that would revolutionize the planet. They spoke of the safety that would come with the Empire's vast military strength, which could protect Earth from threats beyond their understanding. But there were others who saw the situation very differently. They feared that the Empire's offer was a trap. Earth would not be joining a peaceful alliance. It would be surrendering its freedom. The Galactic Empire, as vast and powerful as it was, had a history of conquering worlds, absorbing civilizations, and imposing its rule. If Earth joined the Empire, would it ever have the same freedom again? Would they be free to make their own decisions, or would they be forced to follow the will of distant rulers? In a quiet, private meeting room, the Earth Defense Coalition, an organization made up of scientists, military leaders, and diplomats, began to discuss a different course of action. This group, hidden from the public eye, believed that Earth had a right to stand on its own, without the need for an empire's protection. They began working on an alternative plan, one that didn't involve accepting the empire's offer. Instead, they focused on ways to protect Earth and preserve its sovereignty. The coalition knew they needed to act quickly. The message had been received, and the Empire's fleet was on its way to Earth. They began to work on a secret project, one that would give humanity the power to defend itself from even the mightiest of foes. Earth may have been small in the grand scheme of the galaxy, but humanity had something that no empire could conquer: the will to protect their home. As the days passed, Earth's leaders continued to debate. There was still no clear answer. But one thing was certain: this was only the beginning. Earth's future would be shaped by the decision they made now. Would they welcome the Galactic Empire with open arms, or would they stand firm, holding their ground in the face of the unknown? The countdown had begun. The days after the Galactic Empire's message arrived were filled with uncertainty and fear. Earth's leaders had not yet made a decision. The offer was tempting, and some thought it might be the best way forward for humanity. But there was another group, hidden away from the public eye, who saw things differently. This group called themselves the Earth Defense Coalition. The coalition was made up of brilliant scientists, military officers, and diplomats who shared a single belief: Earth should not submit to the Empire. They believed humanity's strength lay in its independence, and that the Galactic Empire was not the answer to Earth's future. While the rest of the world debated, the coalition began working in secret, developing technologies and strategies to protect Earth from any threats the Empire might pose. In a small, undisclosed location, the members of the coalition gathered. It was a hidden underground facility, protected by layers of security and deep within the Earth's surface. No one could know what they were planning. The coalition's leader, a woman named Dr. Helena Carter, stood before a large holographic display. The room was filled with a sense of purpose as she addressed the team. "We can't afford to trust the Empire," Dr. Carter said. "Their offer sounds kind, but we know that they have a long history of conquering worlds. What happens when they get bored with us, or when they decide we're no longer useful? We can't let that happen." The room was silent for a moment as the team absorbed her words. They all knew the stakes were high. If the Empire saw humanity as a threat, Earth could become the next target in their quest for control. But if humanity refused to cooperate, they risked making the Empire their enemy. "We need to develop technology that can defend Earth, something the Empire won't be able to easily overcome," Dr. Carter continued. "It won't be easy, but I know we can do it. Humanity has always been at its best when faced with impossible challenges." The team worked around the clock, pooling their knowledge and skills. Scientists studied the data from the Empire's ships that had been intercepted by Earth's satellites. Military leaders strategized, planning out the best ways to defend Earth without provoking the Empire. Engineers worked on building advanced weapons and shields that could protect the planet if the Empire decided to attack. Months passed, and the project slowly began to take shape. The Earth Defense Coalition developed a revolutionary new technology: a powerful energy shield. This shield was unlike anything humanity had ever created before. It could protect the entire planet from space-based threats, including the advanced weapons of the Galactic Empire. But this was just one piece of the puzzle. The coalition also developed several smaller advanced weapons that could be used to counter the Empire's fleet. These weapons were designed to be discreet, hidden within Earth's existing technology, so that the Empire wouldn't know what to expect. As the shield and weapon systems were tested, the team realized that Earth was ready for something more than just defense. They could make a stand, a bold declaration to the Empire. Dr. Carter knew that now was the time to speak to the world, to rally humanity to its cause. "We cannot allow fear to control us," she said, addressing the coalition's members. "We will make our stand, and we will not go quietly into the night. We are Earth. This is our home, and we will fight to protect it." The time had come for the Earth Defense Coalition to make their move. The world's leaders, who had been hesitant to act, finally took notice of what the coalition had accomplished. The energy shield, though still in the early stages of deployment, was ready to be tested on a larger scale. The weapons were being prepared, and humanity was coming together. In a historic address to the world, Dr. Carter appeared on television screens everywhere. Standing before a backdrop of Earth's cities, she spoke directly to the people of the planet. "People of Earth," she began, her voice calm but filled with conviction, The Galactic Empire has come to our doorstep, offering us what they call peace. But we know that true peace cannot be found under the rule of another. We will not be part of their empire. We are Earth, and we will defend our home." Her words were met with mixed reactions. Some felt fear and doubt, but many more felt a sense of pride and unity. Across the globe, people rallied behind the idea of defending their planet. Nations that had once been divided began to work together. The energy shield was activated, its bright blue glow visible in the skies. Humanity had decided Earth would stand on its own. The world was not yet ready for war, but it was ready for the unknown. The Galactic Empire was coming, but Earth had prepared itself in ways that the Empire could not predict. The coalition had given humanity the tools to defend itself, and now the real test was about to begin. The moment everyone had feared, or hoped for, finally arrived. The Galactic Empire's fleet was visible at the edge of Earth's solar system, a vast collection of ships that filled the skies with their enormous presence. The Empire's message had been clear, and now they were coming to Earth. With the fleets of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy on the way, there was no turning back. The people of Earth had made their choice, but now they would face the consequences of that choice. In Earth's major cities, people gathered in front of their screens, watching as the Empire's ships moved closer. News reports were filled with images of these colossal, shining vessels, unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The ships were sleek, metallic, and glowing, each one brimming with alien technology that made even the most advanced Earth ships seem primitive in comparison. For the leaders of Earth, the reality of the situation had finally sunk in. There was no more time for debate. The Empire had arrived. The United Nations had called an emergency meeting to discuss their next move. Dr. Helena Carter, leader of the Earth Defense Coalition, had been invited to the meeting. It was a historic moment, and all eyes were on her and her team as they prepared to meet with the Empire. The meeting was held in a grand conference hall in New York, with representatives from every nation present. Tension filled the air as the doors opened, and the first delegation of the Galactic Empire entered. They were not what the humans expected. They were tall and slender beings, with pale skin that shimmered slightly in the light. Their eyes glowed a soft purple, and their movements were graceful and deliberate. They were led by an alien known as Vorin, the High Ambassador of the Galactic Empire. His presence was commanding, and though he did not speak, there was an air of authority that made everyone in the room feel small. Vorin's gaze swept across the human leaders, finally resting on Dr. Carter. He nodded slightly before speaking in a voice that was both calm and powerful. "Humanity of Earth," he began, "I am Vorin, High Ambassador of the Galactic Empire. I come in peace and with great offers. You are on the brink of joining a civilization that spans the stars. Our empire can offer you knowledge, safety, and prosperity beyond what your world has ever known." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to sink in. "You need only accept our invitation, and we will guide you into a new age." For a moment, no one moved. The air was thick with silence. But then, Dr. Helena Carter stepped forward. The weight of the moment hung heavy on her shoulders, but she stood tall, unflinching. "We appreciate your offer, Ambassador," she said, her voice steady. "But Earth is not interested in joining your empire." A murmur spread across the room. The Empire had not expected this answer. Vorin's eyes narrowed, but his voice remained calm. "Are you certain, Earthlings? Do you understand the consequences of such a decision? The Empire does not tolerate rejection. Your planet may be small, but its defiance will be remembered." "We understand," Dr. Carter replied, "and we are prepared." The humans in the room exchanged looks, a mixture of nervousness and pride. The decision had been made, and now they would face the consequences, whatever they might be. The delegation from the Empire stood in silence for a few moments, then turned and walked out of the room, leaving Earth's leaders to ponder what came next. Back at the Earth Defense Coalition's secret facility, the news of the meeting spread quickly. The team had been waiting for this moment, and they had prepared. Dr. Carter's words had been just the beginning. The energy shield was activated, and the first phase of humanity's defense plan was put into motion. The shield's blue glow filled the sky, a symbol of humanity's determination to protect its home. Across the globe, citizens of Earth watched with mixed emotions. Some were scared, wondering what would happen next. Others were filled with hope, knowing that their leaders had made a stand. It was a time of uncertainty, but it was also a time of unity. People who had once been divided by borders, languages, and cultures were now united in their common goal: to protect Earth from the might of the Galactic Empire. The next day, the world's leaders gathered once again. Dr. Carter addressed the people of Earth, her words broadcast on every screen. People of Earth, she began, today we made a choice. We chose to defend our home, to stand for our independence. The Galactic Empire may be vast and powerful, but we are not afraid. We are Earth, and we will not bow to anyone. Her words were met with cheers from some, and quiet apprehension from others. But one thing was clear: Earth had made its decision, and now the challenge would begin. The Galactic Empire, however, was not finished. They had heard Earth's refusal, and they would not forget it. But for now, they held their position at the edge of the solar system. The game of diplomacy had ended, and the next chapter was about to begin. The stakes were higher than ever before. Earth had made its stand, and the Empire would soon learn that the people of Earth were not to be underestimated. In the days following Earth's refusal to join the Galactic Empire, a strange mix of fear and determination filled the air. The world watched closely as the Empire's ships remained just outside the solar system, hovering in silence. The Empire had made it clear that they would not take kindly to rejection, but the people of Earth were not backing down. Instead, they began to show their strength in ways no one had expected. Earth was no stranger to adversity. Over the centuries, humanity had faced countless challenges: wars, natural disasters, disease, and even moments when it seemed like the world might fall apart. But through it all, humanity had one thing that no alien empire could ever replicate: the will to survive and adapt. The Earth Defense Coalition, led by Dr. Helena Carter, had been working tirelessly since the Empire's message arrived. The team had been preparing Earth's defenses, not only with technology, but with a sense of unity that had been rare in human history. People who once sought each other as competitors or enemies were now working side by side. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and even civilians had joined the effort to protect their home. The Coalition's first major accomplishment was the energy shield. Unlike anything seen before, the shield was designed to protect Earth from even the most advanced weapons the Empire might throw at it. The shield was not just a barrier, it was a symbol. It sent a clear message to the Galactic Empire: Earth was not an easy target. As the shield went online, the world watched in awe. Across the globe, people looked up at the sky and saw the faint, shimmering glow that surrounded the planet. The energy field was powerful, strong enough to block any incoming attack. It was the first line of defense, but the Coalition knew that it wouldn't be enough. The Empire was powerful, and they would likely find a way around Earth's shield. That's why the Coalition continued to work on advanced technologies, planning for every possible scenario. At the same time, Earth's military began to prepare for the worst. While humanity was still far from matching the Empire's fleet in terms of sheer size and firepower, the Earth Defense Coalition had come up with an innovative solution. Small, agile ships, designed with stealth technology, were being built at an unprecedented rate. These ships would be fast, difficult to detect, and equipped with advanced weapons capable of disabling even the most advanced Empire vessels. In addition, the Coalition worked on creating a series of underground bunkers and hidden command centers. They knew that in a worst-case scenario, Earth's cities could become targets, but humanity had a history of resilience, of rebuilding after setbacks, and the coalition was determined to ensure that even if the worst happened, Earth would survive. Meanwhile, Earth's people were beginning to realize just how strong they were. People from all walks of life, scientists, teachers, farmers, doctors, began to share their knowledge and skills. The world had never seen such unity. In the cities, large groups of volunteers worked together to build and transport supplies. In the countryside, farmers worked harder than ever to grow food that could sustain everyone, knowing that Earth would need to be self-sufficient if things escalated. Humanity's strength was not just in its technology, but in its heart. People who had once been divided by borders, languages, and cultures were now united in their common goal: to protect Earth. People were not afraid. They were inspired by the idea of standing together as one. This was something that the Empire had not counted on. Earth may have been small and inexperienced in intergalactic affairs, but it had something far more powerful: a determination to protect its home and the will to fight for its freedom. As the days passed, Dr. Carter and her team continued to work with a sense of urgency. They knew that the Empire would not wait forever. But every small victory, every successful test of new technology, gave them hope. The Empire's ships were still in orbit, but Earth was not standing still. The people of Earth were preparing, and they were preparing to win. One evening, Dr. Carter stood before her team, watching the data streams from their latest tests. The energy shield had been reinforced, and the new stealth ships were ready for deployment. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. For the first time in a long while, she allowed herself a small smile. "We're not just defending Earth," she said quietly. "We're showing the Empire that humanity will never give up. We may be outmatched, but we're not out of the fight." Her words resonated throughout the room. The team, though tired, was filled with a renewed sense of purpose. They knew that their work was far from over, but they also knew that they had made the impossible possible. Earth, for all its flaws and weaknesses, had proven that it could stand up to the greatest forces in the galaxy. The Empire had underestimated humanity's strength, and now it would learn that the people of Earth were not just survivors. They were fighters, united and ready for anything the future held. The day the Galactic Empire finally made its move, the entire world held its breath. Earth had been preparing for this moment for months, building defenses, organizing its people, and testing its new technologies. But nothing could truly prepare them for the arrival of the Empire's full force. At the edge of the solar system, the Empire's ships were no longer silent. A massive fleet, hundreds of warships, each far larger than anything humanity had ever seen, began to move closer. The ships were like silent shadows in the void of space, their powerful engines propelling them toward Earth with a quiet determination. They had come to make Earth submit. The Galactic Empire, confident in its vast power, had decided that it was time to end the charade. The moment Earth had refused their invitation, the Empire had viewed it as an act of defiance, and no act of defiance went unpunished. Back on Earth, Dr. Helena Carter and the Earth Defense Coalition were watching the fleet approach. The energy shield that had been protecting the planet hummed quietly, but it was now under the greatest test it had ever faced. The shield had held up to every test humanity had put it through, but now it would face an empire with technology far beyond anything Earth had ever known. In the control center deep below the Earth's surface, Dr. Carter stood in front of a large holographic display. The fleet was only hours away now, and Earth's leaders had gathered once again to decide on their final course of action. There was no more time for hesitation. The coalition's defenses were ready, but it was clear that Earth's only hope of survival was to stand together and fight. "Everything is set," said Captain Michael West, a leader in Earth's military, as he glanced at the various screens around him. "Our stealth ships are positioned. The energy shield is at full power. We've done everything we can." Dr. Carter nodded. "Now we just have to hope it's enough." The Empire's ships finally entered Earth's atmosphere, their enormous shapes casting long shadows over the planet. From the ground, people could see the ships, massive, gleaming vessels that seemed to stretch endlessly into the sky. The sight was awe-inspiring, but it was also terrifying. This was the moment that would determine Earth's future. At that moment, a voice echoed through the communications channels. It was Vorin, the High Ambassador of the Galactic Empire. His calm voice carried through the speakers, making it clear that he was not speaking just to Earth's leaders, but to every single person on the planet. Earth, Vorin began, we have come to offer you peace, but you have chosen to stand in defiance. You will soon learn that resistance is futile. You will submit to the Galactic Empire, or you will face the consequences. The message was broadcast everywhere, on screens, in the streets, on the internet. The words were clear. Earth had no choice but to bow to the Empire's will, or face the full wrath of their might. But Dr. Carter's resolve was unshaken. She knew that Earth's spirit was not easily broken. It was not just a matter of technology. It was a matter of will. And Earth's will was stronger than anything the Empire could throw at them. Activate the shield, Dr. Carter ordered. Across the world, the shield's glow brightened, a brilliant blue light that stretched around the entire planet. It was an impressive sight, but the Empire was not intimidated. Their ships, which had been sitting in orbit, finally began to fire. The first wave of energy blasts struck the shield with incredible force. The sound of the impact was like thunder, and the shield flickered as it absorbed the blast. The people of Earth watched with bated breath, unsure of what would happen next. But the shield held. The energy blasts simply dissipated as they hit, unable to penetrate the protective barrier. Dr. Carter's team watched the data streams with relief. The shield was doing its job, but the Empire would not give up so easily. Deploy the stealth ships, Captain West commanded. From secret launch sites around the world, Earth's small, fast ships shot into the sky. These ships, designed with advanced cloaking technology, were difficult to detect, and they were now zipping through space, approaching the Empire's fleet. The first wave of Earth's ships attacked with precision, targeting key areas on the Empire's warships. They fired bursts of energy that disrupted the Empire's systems, causing some of the larger vessels to momentarily lose power. The battle had begun. The Empire responded with force. Their ships fired back, sending torrents of energy towards Earth's defenses. The sky above Earth was lit up with flashes of bright light as the two forces collided. People could see the explosions and the bright colors in the sky, knowing that this was the beginning of a battle that would determine the fate of their world. The warships of the Empire were powerful, but the people of Earth were fighting with everything they had. Every ship that took off, every weapon that was fired, was an act of defiance. Earth's people were not going to give up without a fight. In the midst of the chaos, Dr. Carter stood firm, watching the battle unfold. The outcome was still uncertain, but one thing was clear: Earth was not going to surrender. The war for Earth had begun, and humanity's fight for freedom had only just started. The battle raged on, and the air was thick with tension. Across the globe, people watched the skies, waiting anxiously for news of the conflict unfolding above them. The Empire's massive warships continued to fire at Earth's energy shield, their powerful blasts lighting up the sky like flashes of lightning. But Earth's shield held strong. It absorbed each wave of attacks, glowing brightly in defense. In the control center beneath the Earth's surface, Dr. Helena Carter stood over the holographic map of the battlefield. Her eyes scanned the data streams, watching as Earth's stealth ships darted around the Empire's warships, striking at key targets. Every successful hit was met with cheers from the team, but they knew the fight was far from over. "Keep pushing forward," Dr. Carter ordered. "We have to hit them where it hurts." Captain Michael West, overseeing the fleet of Earth's ships, nodded and relayed the orders. The stealth ships, though small and vulnerable, were doing their best to evade the Empire's firepower. They were nimble, faster than the Empire's colossal ships, and each time they struck, they caused minor disruptions in the Empire's communications and defense systems. It wasn't enough to win the war, but it was enough to show that Earth was fighting back. As the day wore on, the battle became fiercer. The Empire responded with greater force, deploying smaller attack vessels from their massive warships. These ships were equipped with devastating energy weapons, and they began to target Earth's stealth ships, taking down one after another. But even as Earth's fleet took heavy losses, the human spirit did not falter. Soldiers, engineers, and pilots kept fighting, their faces grim but resolute. They knew what was at stake. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for freedom. Meanwhile, back on Earth, civilians continued their efforts. Across the world, people were working together, gathering resources, and helping in whatever way they could. Some helped construct additional defense structures, while others assisted in the evacuation of cities most likely to be targeted. The world had united in a way that had never been seen before. Every person, whether directly involved in the battle or not, was playing a part in humanity's survival. In a command center in Europe, a group of young engineers was hard at work. They had been working for days on an idea they believed could turn the tide of the battle. They had developed a new kind of energy pulse, one that could disrupt the Empire's ships on a much larger scale. It was risky, but if it worked, it could give Earth's forces the upper hand. "We're ready to deploy the pulse," one of the engineers said, a note of excitement in his voice. "It could disable their ships for a brief period, long enough for us to strike." Dr. Carter looked at the team, her expression filled with both hope and caution. "Do it, but be ready to adjust if anything goes wrong." The engineers activated the pulse, and soon, a massive wave of energy surged into space. The pulse spread outward, aimed at the Empire's fleet. The impact was immediate. Some of the Empire's ships began to falter, their systems shutting down as they struggled to regain power. Earth's forces saw the opportunity and launched their full assault, using the chaos caused by the pulse to strike with everything they had. For a moment, it seemed like the tide was turning in favor of Earth. The Empire's once unyielding ships were now vulnerable, their shields flickering and their weapons offline. The Empire's fleet had never faced anything like this before. The Empire had underestimated humanity's ability to innovate under pressure, and now it was paying the price. But just as hope began to rise, the Empire regrouped. Their warships quickly regained power, and the Empire's response was swift and merciless. More attack vessels were launched, and the Empire began to target Earth's defenses with renewed fury. The energy shield flickered with each blast, but it held strong for now. Despite the setbacks, Dr. Carter's resolve remained firm. "We've made progress," she said, her voice steady. "But this battle is far from over. We'll keep pushing forward. Earth will not fall." Captain West nodded, his face grim. "We need more time. The Empire is relentless, but we have to keep them at bay." As the battle continued, the world held its breath. Humanity had fought back with everything it had, but the Empire was still a formidable opponent. The outcome was uncertain. However, one thing was clear: Earth would not give up. The people of Earth had shown the galaxy what they were capable of, and though the fight was far from won, the spark of hope had been lit. Earth's strength was not just in its technology, its shield, or its weapons. It was in its people, their courage, and their willingness to fight for what they believed in. The Empire had underestimated humanity's determination, and as long as there was breath in Earth's lungs, the fight would continue. The war for Earth had reached a critical point, and the outcome would depend on humanity's ability to hold on just a little longer. The next move was up to them. The battle for Earth had reached its breaking point. The skies above the planet were filled with flashes of light and the sound of distant explosions. Earth's energy shield flickered under the intense assault from the Galactic Empire. The once brilliant blue shield now appeared strained, struggling to hold back wave after wave of energy blasts from the Empire's warships. Dr. Helena Carter stood in the control center, watching the battlefield unfold in real time. The holographic display in front of her showed that Earth's defenses were holding strong, but the shield wouldn't last much longer. The Empire's relentless attacks were beginning to take their toll. "We're running out of time," Captain Michael West said, his voice tense as he looked over the data. "We need to act now, or we'll lose everything." Dr. Carter took a deep breath. The pulse they had unleashed earlier had given Earth's forces a brief advantage, but now the Empire was regrouping. The warships were beginning to fire with even greater intensity. It was clear that the Empire wasn't going to stop until Earth was brought to its knees. But Earth was not going to surrender. It had been clear from the beginning that this battle was about more than just technology or firepower. It was about the spirit of humanity, the will to fight for freedom, and the determination to protect home. And it was in those qualities that Earth's true strength lay. "We have one more plan," Dr. Carter said, her voice calm but firm. "It's risky, but it's our only chance." She turned to the engineers and scientists who had been working tirelessly alongside the military. They had spent the past few days developing a final weapon, one that could disrupt the Empire's ships on a massive scale. It was a new kind of energy pulse, one that could potentially shut down every ship in the Empire's fleet simultaneously. But it was untested, and there was no guarantee that it would work. "The pulse is ready," one of the engineers said, his voice filled with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Dr. Carter nodded. "Let's do it." The team quickly activated the pulse, and a bright, blinding light shot into space, radiating outward toward the Empire's fleet. It was the last hope for humanity. And as the pulse expanded, everyone on Earth waited in silence, holding their breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the first of the Empire's warships began to shake, its systems flickering. One by one, the rest of the fleet followed suit, their lights dimming and their weapons powering down. The pulse had worked. Earth's final weapon had succeeded. But even as the Empire's fleet was disabled, the battle was far from over. The Empire was not going to let Earth win so easily. Their commanders quickly initiated a backup plan, sending a final wave of attack ships to engage Earth's remaining defenses. Captain West and his fleet of stealth ships didn't hesitate. They launched their attack, firing with precision, targeting the weakened Empire warships. The energy shield had been badly damaged, but it still held strong enough to protect Earth's cities. "Focus on the lead ships," Captain West commanded. "We need to take out their command vessel." With renewed determination, Earth's ships moved into position, launching everything they had left. The battle was fierce, with both sides giving everything they could. But the tide of the battle was beginning to shift in Earth's favor. Dr. Carter stood by the holographic map, watching the battle unfold. For the first time in days, she allowed herself a small smile. The Empire had underestimated humanity's resolve. No matter how powerful their technology was, they could not break the spirit of the people of Earth. The Empire's command ship, the largest and most powerful of all, was finally within range. Captain West's fleet launched a final assault, their energy blasts tearing through the ship's defenses. The command ship's shields began to falter, and its systems slowly shut down. With a final explosion, the command ship collapsed into the void of space, its engines flickering out. The rest of the Empire's fleet quickly followed suit, their ships disabled and helpless. The battle for Earth was finally over. Earth's people erupted in cheers as the Empire's forces were defeated. The skies cleared, and the energy shield that had protected Earth for so long shimmered one last time before fading away. Earth had won. Dr. Carter and Captain West exchanged a look of relief, knowing that they had just saved their planet. But the victory was not just theirs, it was humanity's. The people of Earth had fought with everything they had. They had stood up to the Empire's overwhelming power and refused to give in. The Galactic Empire had learned a valuable lesson. Humanity was not to be underestimated. They had underestimated Earth's strength, its unity, and its will to fight for what it believed in. And as Earth began to rebuild, the world knew that this victory would be remembered for generations to come. It would be a symbol of hope, of resilience, and of the indomitable human spirit. Earth had proven that, No matter how powerful the enemy, no matter how dire the circumstances, humanity would always rise up, fight back, and protect what it loved. The Galactic Empire would never forget the day they learned that Earth would never be conquered.